This is English shorthand dictation number 264 and the dictation speed is 140 words per minute. Ready? Start. I am grateful for the opportunity to attend this seminar on the theme of reforms in our judicial system. It is common knowledge that the root causes for the high pendency levels are the chronic shortage of judicial officers as well as inadequate budgetary allocations. While the erstwhile colonial government may have deliberately understaffed and underfunded the judicial branch, the problem of a low judge population ratio has unfortunately persisted till the present times. In recent years, the disposal rates of judicial officers have actually been improving with each passing year, but the rate of institution of fresh proceedings is far higher. This is but natural in a society where millions of individuals are gradually emerging from the clutches of poverty, illiteracy, and status-based discrimination. With a more egalitarian socio-economic order, more and more people will gain the capacity and the confidence to approach the judicial system. In this sense, we must recognize that a strong and efficient judicial system is not only a prerequisite for enabling social justice but also a public service which will be increasingly demanded by more citizens. While the existing pendency figures may be a cause for worry by themselves, we must prepare for a far bigger docket explosion in the future. The onus is on us to improve access to justice for those sections of society who were excluded in the past. Hence, our agenda for judicial reforms should not only focus on reducing the existing pendency and arrears, but it should also account for the incremental challenges that await us in the years to come. The comparison between judicial statistics from different states also shows that the litigation rates in various states do not bear a consistent correlation with their respective population. This means that in some states a larger proportion of the population has been approaching the courts as compared to that of other states. What is especially worrying is the immense disparity between the number of civil and criminal cases instituted in backward and insurgency-hit areas. A perusal of the pendency figures indicates that while there are more civil cases filed in the developed areas, the reliance on the civil justice system is shockingly low in states such as Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Jammu and Kashmir, as well as the northeastern states. This disturbing trend could have two explanations. One is that the number of courts is grossly inadequate, and the other explanation is that ordinary citizens are consciously not bringing their civil disputes before the judicial system. If the second of these explanations holds good, then it calls for targeted interventions. We must keep an open mind in addressing these issues. In order to make effective interventions, there might be a need to depart from some well-established practices and opt for radical changes in our judicial system. While the judiciary enjoys an exalted status in the opinion of the public, there must also be a willingness to change with the times. The first and foremost requirement is that of progressively increasing the number of judges, especially at the subordinate level. Unfortunately, it is perceived in many quarters that it is only those who are unable to build a practice of their own who appear for the judicial services examinations. There must be some proactive measures taken to change this perception. The prevailing system for recruiting judicial officers needs to be overhauled in order to attract the best available talent. Apart from improving pay scales and service conditions, there must also be a commensurate improvement of prospects for career advancement. However, it has been argued in some quarters that the recruitment process in most states is itself quite lengthy and cumbersome, thereby leading to the piling up of vacancies. It must be highlighted here that an elaborate selection process is necessary to ensure that only competent and suitable persons join the judiciary. The recruitment process is coordinated by the respective high courts and the state public service commissions, who are responsible for conducting the written examinations and interview. Hence, there are always bound to be some vacancies on account of the time needed to conduct a thorough evaluation of the candidates. But nevertheless, efforts must be made to keep the vacancies within proper limits. There is, of course, scope for improving the examination process by incorporating problem-based questions that test the candidates' analytical and communication skills. Some high courts have also taken the initiative of organizing pre-appointment training for selected candidates in order to equip them with necessary skills such as research, judgment writing, and case management. In this regard, we must wholeheartedly support the activities of the National Judicial Academy and the various state judicial academies that organize periodic training programs for serving judicial officers. It is only through constant upgradation of knowledge that our judicial officers will be able to tackle the challenges before them. Another proposal for improving the quality of subordinate courts is the creation of an All India Judicial Service. This would entail the formation of an All India cadre for officers appointed at the rank of Additional District Judge. The recruitment would be through a national level examination, and it is suggested that up to 25% of the officers in each state could be drawn from this All India cadre. However, this proposal has faced some criticism since there are apprehensions that individuals belonging to one state may face language problems when they are posted to another state. This can be addressed by factoring in the candidates' language skills while deciding on the location of their assignment. The main objective is to ensure a degree of uniformity in the examination process. An important measure taken for expanding the subordinate judiciary is the creation of village-level courts. These village-level courts would be manned by judicial officers of a rank equivalent to a civil judge junior division or a judicial magistrate first class. It has been estimated that nearly 4,000 judicial officers will be needed in order to implement this scheme. I must also lay stress on the fact that these officers will be chosen through the regular judicial services examination conducted by the respective state governments. There is tremendous potential in this scheme since the intention is to reduce the costs that are borne by litigants in approaching courts located at district centers. The underlying philosophy is to bring justice to the doorsteps of rural citizens. The central government has already assured financial assistance to the state governments for the purpose of establishing the village-level courts. Coming to the high courts, I must reiterate here that there has been an upward revision in the sanctioned strength of several high courts in recent years. The central government has promptly approved of the requests for increasing the number of judges at the high court level. However, there exists a disparity in the proportion between the number of high court judges and the respective population of different states. This is so because the rate of institution, disposal, and pendency of cases is also taken into account for deciding the strength of the judges. As far as appointments to the Supreme Court are concerned, I must say that we are bound by the procedure in accordance with the Constitution Bench decisions given by our predecessors in 1993 and 1998. The proper forum for suggesting changes to the appointment process is the Parliament. It would not be proper for me to enter the debate at this stage. A vast majority of our magistrates and civil judges work with very poor infrastructural facilities. Even the district and sessions judges face numerous obstacles in their daily routine on account of poor maintenance of court complexes. While the progressive expansion of the judiciary should be supported, there is also a compelling need to ensure the proper maintenance of the existing courts. This calls for consistent financial commitments from the respective state governments. Independent studies have shown that the budgetary allocations for the judiciary form a very small portion of the aggregate public expenditure. Some commentators have suggested that the picture will drastically improve even if a large portion of the court fees that is collected at different levels is reinvested into the judicial system. It must be recognized that expenditure directed at the judicial system will help in preventing the long-term costs associated with protracted litigation as well as the intangible costs that are incurred by society on account of unresolved disputes.